Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another True Unscripted Puro video, and today we have another episode of Reviving the Federation, as today we have another episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown, this time from the SAP Center in San Jose. I do have a few notes from in between Raw last episode and tonight. So, first thing, Shane Helms, as I mentioned yesterday, has been suspended due to steroid usage, which is funny because if you remember last episode, I pissed him off for trying to have an intervention with him. So, another thing that happened for some reason, the WWE Intercontinental Championship. So, I was doing some spring cleaning in AAA and NXT, and I decided, you know what? I don't want to risk any of my, main roster superstars getting injured in AAA. And also, there's a few NXT people who are also signed to AAA. So I'm just gonna, remove them. I'm just gonna have wrestlers be signed to, one company so that way they all can get exclusive written deals. One of those people in AAA was Penta. So, obviously, I released him from AAA, and it somehow affected him on the main roster. So, he's now a two-time Intercontinental Champion. I was pissed when I saw this, but, oh well. Believe me, I am furious that it happened. But, yeah. So, I'm just gonna act like this is one continuous reign. After I put the title back on Penta, I realized I had a better idea as to what I could have done with the title, but it's too late to change it. So, congrats on Penta being a two-time Intercontinental Champion. Yeah, so it's going to irritate me for a little while, but oh well. But as for SmackDown tonight, I have bumped it up to 3 hours. Raw has also been lowered slightly to 2.5 hours. So, because I remember last episode, it seemed like a whole lot was going on. Compared to tonight, it's not gonna seem that bad. But yeah, we had 3 hours, but I think I made Roman and Punk's promo like half an hour long each. So that's why it felt normal. But tonight, as you can see, I've filled up my entire board. So, without further ado, let's get into tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. We start the show off with a terrible pre-show match where Royce Keys defeated Angel via pinfall with a frog splash. Has he ever done a frog splash? Whatever. A 49 rating, not too bad. Afterwards, we start the show with a hype video from last week, showing just highlights like Carmelo Hayes versus Sami Zayn for the US title, Damian Priest and R-Truth versus Kit Wilson and The Miz for the tag titles, and Cody and Orton kind of promos on each other are shown before the hype video ends. 53 rating, Carmelo Hayes, R-Truth, and Kit Wilson are all flavor of the month. Love to see that. Afterwards, we go to the ring as Cody's theme song plays. As the crowd cheers like crazy, Cody walks down to the ring smiling before entering the ring, grabbing a microphone. Cody asks San Jose what they want to talk about before saying that he heard what Orton had to say about him last week and how Orton and Stephanie McMahon want him to bring out that killer instinct. He says that he knows he has that killer instinct in him, but has pushed it to the side for a while as he wants to be a leader for WWE and the next generation. But they are right. If he wants to win the match at WrestleMania, he needs to bring out that killer instinct now. Cody then starts to talk about how he knows just how much Orton has wanted that number 15 for so long now, before being interrupted by Kit Wilson, who tells Cody that it is toxic to even be considering having a killer instinct. Kit says that Cody's the centerpiece of WWE and he's carried this company for 2 whole years. And the fact that he needs to bring out such toxic masculinity like a killer instinct shows that he's no leader. He's just a bitch. Cody immediately cuts Kit off and says that he's glad Kit decided to come out here and run his mouth because Cody is going to shut him up right here, right now. Cody did it fantastic. Kit Wilson was underwhelming. Oh well. Then in your opening contest, Cody Rhodes defeats Kit Wilson in a decent match via pinfall following a Crossroads 70 rating. Love to see it. Afterwards, Cody gets attacked from behind by Randy Orton. Cody falls into the corner as Orton starts stomping away on him. Orton grabs Cody and throws him out of the corner before waiting for Cody to get to his hands and knees before charging at him and punching him. Road agents and referees run out and separate Cody and Orton as Orton taunts the crowd, who showers him in boos. 71 rating, love to see it. Afterwards, we go backstage to where Kiana James is seen being interviewed by Megan Morant, who tells Kiana that Julia hasn't defended her Women's United States title in over 90 days, which risks Julia having a spot on this year's WrestleMania card. James says that it's not that Julia is lazy and doesn't want to defend her title, it's just that there are no credible challengers for her US title. James says that Julia is waiting until after Mania for when the Option C clause is put into place for her to start defending her title again so she can get to 7 defenses easily and then can become a Women's World Champion in the WWE. Tiffany Stratton then enters the frame and tells Kiana that the Women's United States Championship has been in the WWE for over a year now, but it has been treated like a joke. Already, we've had 5 title reigns, with 2 of them being the holder's second reign with the title. Tiffany says that she doesn't care about if there are any credible challengers for the title. She just wants the champion to be a fighting champion. So, Tiff is laying out the challenge. WrestleMania, Julia defends her Women's United States Championship against Tiffany Stratton. Kiana immediately accepts, saying that it'll be a huge deal when Julia pins a former Women's World Champion like Tiff at WrestleMania, before Tiff interrupts her and tells Kiana to remind Julia what time it is. Tiff looks at her wrist before saying it's Tiffy time and walking away. 47 rating, and it has been announced. We will have Julia defending her Women's United States Championship against Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania 42. Very excited to see how that one plays out. Will Julia prove that she is a fighting champion, or will we have a new Women's US Champion in Tiffany Stratton? Then afterwards, we stay in the back as Nick Aldis is seen talking on the phone. He looks up and tells the person on the other line that he has to do something real quick and hangs up as Damian Priest and R-Truth walk into frame. Priest tells Aldis that he's happy that he and Truth were able to defend their titles last week against Kit Wilson and The Miz. But really? There are so many great teams on SmackDown, and Kit Wilson and The Miz are the best options for them? Aldis says that Priest is right, but to be fair, Priest and Truth gave them that match. He wouldn't have allowed it if it wasn't for the champions laying down the challenge. Priest nods and say that Aldis is right, which is why he and Truth are here. They want clear number 1 contenders to be crowned before WrestleMania, so that way, at WrestleMania, he and Truth can defend the titles against the number 1 contenders. Aldis says that this is a great idea, and he knows the perfect teams for it. Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, the Sons of Tonga, and Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy of the White Six. Aldis says that this match is now official and will be tonight's main event. Priest thanks Aldis for setting up the match, and the tag champions leave as the segment ends. 56 rating, and another match has seemingly been announced for WrestleMania. Damian Priest and R-Truth will defend their WWE Tag Team Championships against the winners of a fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match, which will be tonight's main event. 56 rating, love to see it. Afterwards, Jade Cargill and the baddies come down to the ring as they get showered in boos from the crowd. Cargill says that last week she didn't care about whether or not Michin defeated Rhea. All Cargill cared about was that they weakened Rhea. And they did exactly that. See, Cargill knows how much of a star Rhea Ripley is, but all of that means nothing when you don't have the numbers. And Rhea, she doesn't have the numbers at all. She only has Io Sky in her corner. Meanwhile, for Jade, she has BFAB and Michin by her side. And they can easily take care of Rhea. So Rhea better find some more backup within the next week or so, because if she doesn't, then at WrestleMania, Rhea will be easy work for Jade and her baddies. Afterwards, in your next match, Rio defeats the baddies and about to had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. BFAB and Michin have zero chemistry as tag partners. The crowd is simmering. Don't really like to see that. Sorry, I'm trying to... Fuck it, we'll run it live. Afterwards, Rio celebrate their win before Jade Cargill runs in and attacks Rhea and Io. Jade stomps away on Rhea before Io can get up and help Rhea. BFAB and Michin get up and start attacking Io. Jade Cargill grabs a kendo stick and tells her baddies to hold Rhea as she starts laying into Io with the kendo stick. Rhea yells at Jade to stop, but Jade doesn't stop until the kendo stick breaks. Jade laughs before hitting Rhea Ripley with her women's title, sending her down as she poses with her baddies as the crowd showers them in boos. Afterwards, we go backstage to where Matt Cardona can be seen walking backstage before getting interrupted by Aleister Black and Selena. Black says that last week he proved why Cardona is nothing more than an irrelevant old man and why Black is a future world champion while Cardona is a future Endeavor guy. Cardona gets in Black's face asking what he wants now before Selena stops Cardona and says that all they want is for Cardona to stop wasting his time waiting for an opportunity. They know what he can do, and if he doesn't act right now, he won't go anywhere in his career. But before Cardona can respond, Chelsea Green enters the frame and gets in Selena's face, asking why she thinks she can boss around her husband. Selena smirks and says that she can because after tonight, Cardona will see how terrible of a wrestler Chelsea is, and maybe then he'll understand why she and Black have been tormenting him for weeks. But before that match, oh god. In your next match, The Miz defeats Danhausen in a decent match with a skull-crushing finale. I thought this was going to kill the crowd. Thankfully, it didn't. Danhausen has a gimmick that is naturally suited for comedy bouts. Danhausen benefited from being in amazing form. Love to see it. Afterwards, as you saw, The Miz celebrates his win as Danhausen looks shocked. The Miz goes to the top rope to celebrate his win before Danhausen grabs a microphone while grabbing the referee by his shirt. Danhausen says that he should not have lost his debut match here, and if the referee doesn't reverse the decision right now, then he is cursed! The referee immediately shakes his head and goes to the timekeeper's area where he says that he is reversing the decision and Danhausen is now the winner. The Miz looks upset and is heated as Danhausen celebrates the decision, exiting the ring as he raises his arms in a victory. Such a stupid fucking segment. Afterwards, we stay in the ring for our next match where Selena defeats Chelsea Green in a decent match. pinning Green following a moonsault. 41 rating, not too bad. Afterwards, Selena has defeated Chelsea Green and immediately continues attacking her. Selena punches away on Green before Alba Fire runs down to the ring, making the save on Green as Selena runs away, cackling as she raises her arm in victory. Afterwards, Drew McIntyre's music hits and McIntyre storms out to the ring as the fans boo him. McIntyre enters the ring and grabs a microphone before saying that he has a lot to talk about tonight, so buckle in. McIntyre says that he knows he's in enemy territory tonight as this is Fatu's hometown. San Jose is Fatu's hometown, and he just knows a ton of the Fatu and Anoa'i family are here to support Fatu. McIntyre says that's probably a relief to Fatu's family that he's now in the WWE, because before then, Fatu was always locked up, showing just how much he had failed as both a man and as a father. McIntyre says that Fatu has never been an inspiration, but has always been a convict. McIntyre mentions how a few weeks ago, Fatu said that Drew took food off of his family's table, but if anything, Fatu has never put any food on the table unless it was prisoner food. But don't worry, Jacob. After WrestleMania, maybe Drew will help give him a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia, so he can spend some time locked up with the big boss man patrolling him while Drew takes care of Fatu's 7 little girls here in San Jose. Fatu then storms out to the ring, interrupting Drew as he says that he knows he hasn't had the best track record before becoming a pro wrestler, but the past was the past. He has changed, and that's why he became a pro wrestler. Drew then says that Fatu has never changed, and that's why Fatu is still crazy punk-ass bitch that no one in his family wants to associate themselves with. Fatu interrupts Drew as he super kicks him, sending Drew stumbling back before Drew claymores Fatu and throws Fatu to the outside. Drew then follows Fatu to the outside and he picks Fatu up before throwing Fatu to the stairs. Drew then grabs a steel chair and starts laying into Fatu with the chair. Drew eventually puts the chair down and hits Fatu with a future shock DDT onto the chair. Drew then pulls out a pair of handcuffs and handcuffs Fatu to the ring post before grabbing a kendo stick and laying into Fatu's chest with the kendo stick. Drew is eventually separated by referees and road agents as Drew says that this is just a preview of the hell he's going to put Fatu in at WrestleMania. 72 rating, love to see it. The crowd is now finally getting hot again, but afterwards, oh, I'm so excited for this one. We go to an unknown location. Nakamura is seen in this unknown location looking at the camera seriously. Nakamura speaks in Japanese about the meeting of Noroshi. Now it's a signal. It's the smoke before the battle. It's the calm before the storm. Nakamura then talks about the current state of WWE. Legends like him are being disrespected and shoved to the sidelines. The fighting spirit in most wrestlers here are non-existent, and the competition has been replaced by the spectacle, and everyone seemingly wants their moments, forces to master their wrestling skills. The camera then backs up slowly as Nakamura can be seen in front of a fire pit alongside men in dark clothing and wearing full Japanese menpo masks. Nakamura says that this is the start of a new era. The age of comfort is over, and now Noroshi is coming. Nakamura lights the fire pit as the mask's true colors around Nakamura are shown. Nakamura smirks as the segment fades to black. 75 rating, I really don't care about this. They will have to just deal with it. But then, in your next match, the Irresistible Forces defeat Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair in a decent match when Lash Legend pinned Charlotte Flair. In terms of in-ring work, Charlotte Flair was head and shoulders above everyone else. The Irresistible Forces made it defense number 4 of the women's tag titles. Lash Legend and Nia Jax don't work well as a team. That's great to note. It actually, I think, works out well with my plans. So, yeah. Afterwards, the Irresistible Forces continue attacking Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair before Bayley and Lyra Valkyria run down to the ring and attack the Irresistible Forces. The Bella Twins then run down to the ring as all 4 teams start brawling. Everyone hits their finishing moves on each other, and in the end, the Irresistible Forces are still left standing somehow and taunt the crowd as they pose with their WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Afterwards, we go backstage to where The Miz can be seen storming into frame with Megan Morant. The Miz looks pissed, immediately asking Megan how the hell Danhausen was able to get the match reversed with a stupid threat. Morant says that they both have seen the mayhem Danhausen has caused recently, and The Miz interrupts by saying he doesn't give a damn about the mayhem that Danhausen has caused. The Miz won that match fair and square, and Danhausen was able to reverse the match with a simple threat of being cursed. The Miz has had it up to here with the bullshit and says that he's going to talk to Aldis later tonight to make things right. The Miz storms off as Morant looks a little surprised by Miz's words before the segment fades to black. Afterwards, Sami Zayn is seen walking up to Nick Aldis, and Zayn tells Aldis that he just wanted to thank him not only for being able to start the open challenges, but now allow the open challenges to lead to bigger and better things for the next generation of WWE talent. Zayn says that his goal at first was simply to honor Cena by continuing the open challenges while also elevating the status of the United States title, but now he's proud that the open challenges have led to much more opportunities for the younger generations. Zayn says that he intends to defend his title up next in an open challenge, but he just wanted to thank Aldis for everything before he did so. Aldis tells Zayn that he is most certainly welcome, and he was the one who actually requested the Option C clause for the mid-card titles because he has seen just how much the fans have loved these weekly open challenges and hopes that the clause allows people like Zayn and Carmelo Hayes to make a seamless transition from the US title to the world title without having to jump through a ton of hoops. Did I write anything else now? 71 rating, love to see it. And as you've just heard, Aldis was the one who requested the Open C clause for the titles. What a great request, and I'm happy that is gone through. And up next, as you just heard, Sami Zayn is going to defend his title in an open challenge, and Sami Zayn comes out as the crowd goes crazy for him. Zayn enters the ring and hypes up the crowd as he patiently waits to see who his opponent will be tonight. Suddenly, Trick Williams' music hits and the crowd immediately starts chanting for him as he comes out in his white Ford jacket and his lemon pepper steppers. Trick says that it's funny how Zayn is still continuing to do these US title open challenges, especially after the announcement from Monday where if you get 7 defenses, you can use Option C and vacate the title. Trick says that Zayn only has 1 defense right now, and even if he did a defense on every main roster show before WrestleMania, he still would not be able to get out of their scheduled match at Mania by using Option C. Trick then says that if Zayn really didn't want the US title, then why didn't he just lay down for Carmelo Hayes last week? Or hell, not even answer the open challenge 2 weeks ago? Zayn says that it's not that he doesn't want the US title, it's that he wants to be a fighting champion week in and week out. Zayn cares about the WrestleMania match, but Zayn set the standard a few months ago by starting the open challenges, and he doesn't want to end them because of their title match. Before Trick said he doesn't give no damn about the standards. If Zayn can't go without defending the title for 2 weeks, then that just shows how egotistical Sami Zayn is. He knows Zayn is a fighting champion. Everyone knows that Zayn is a fighting champion, but he has his scheduled match against him at WrestleMania. Zayn should at least have the decency to not defend the title until Mania, so Trick can whoop that Trick all over Las Vegas and win the title. Zayn says that if Trick really doesn't want to see him defend the title, then fine, he won't defend the title this week. But just know that Trick has just cost several people in that locker room a shot at going to WrestleMania. Zayn then walks away as Trick smirks, clearly not caring about anyone else in that locker room. 75 rating, love to see it. Afterwards, we go back to backstage as Nick Aldis can be seen backstage with Ilya Dragunov as Ilya thanks Aldis for the match later tonight before walking off. Hayes can then be seen storming into Aldis' office, confronting Aldis and asking him if he saw what Trick has done the past 2 weeks in his matches for the US title. He says that Trick cost him the title 2 weeks ago and then cost him the title again last week. Hayes then tells Aldis that he demands him to be put in the US title match at WrestleMania before Aldis says that he understands Hayes' frustrations. That's not how things go around here. He's not just going to hand out WrestleMania matches to anyone, even if it's justifiable. But luckily for Hayes, Ilya has actually just asked if he could have a matchup next where the winner gets entered into the US title at WrestleMania. And Aldis thinks Hayes would be the perfect opponent for Ilya. So Hayes has a match in just a few moments to determine who enters the title match at WrestleMania. Hayes looks a little heated, but says that he'll take that over nothing and thanks Aldis before walking away. And as you've just heard, up next to determine who gets inserted into the US title match at WrestleMania alongside Sami Zayn and Trick Williams, Ilya Dragunov defeats Carmelo Hayes in a decent match after Hayes was disqualified when Trick Williams ran in and attacked Ilya Dragunov. Wow! Trick causes the DQ win for Ilya Dragunov as he attacks him in front of the referee on the outside, smirking as Carmelo Hayes watches on from inside the ring. Hayes exits the ring as the bell rings and starts attacking Trick before Trick grabs Hayes and throws him to the LED barricade. Trick taunts the crowd as he is showered in booze before entering the ring. Trick goes to grab a microphone before Nick Aldis storms out looking pissed. Aldis says that Trick just ruined the match that was going to add a third man to his WrestleMania match, and for what? Because of his hatred for Carmelo Hayes? Well, guess what? Because Trick interfered, now both Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes will be entered into the US title match at WrestleMania, making the match a fatal 4-way. Trick looks pissed and tries to tell Aldis that he can't do that, but Aldis cuts him off by saying that he is the general manager and it is official. Trick exits the ring and storms up the ramp as the graphic is shown for the new Mania match as the segment ends. 55 rating, love to see it. Afterwards, we get a backstage promo from Randy Orton. Randy is seen talking on the phone with someone backstage, how he will make sure that the person on the other line will get, quote, premium first row seats at WrestleMania so they can watch him beat Cody Rhodes and win the WWE Championship. Orton says that he'll talk to the person later and hangs up before Moran enters the frame, asking Orton who he was talking to on the phone. Orton says that he's not going to talk about it right now, especially publicly right here with Megan Morant when there is a microphone and a camera in front of him. Morant says that, that's understandable, but then asks Orton if he can give a hint as to who it was. He doesn't have to say who it was, but, just give us some breadcrumbs. Orton responds by saying that he's not going to feed anything to the dirt sheets, and he's not going to waste his time anymore with this interview, and walks away before Morant can ask him anything else. Then, in your main event, to determine who fights Damian Priest and R-Truth at WrestleMania for the WWE Tag Team titles, the Motor City Machine Guns defeat the Sons of Tonga, the White Six, and Fraxium when Alex Shelley pinned Tonga Loa with a Made in Detroit. During the match, during the final moments actually, we saw Uncle Howdy run in and attack Tama Tonga. Seemingly like the White Six and the MFTs aren't fully done with each other yet. But it has been official. Motor City Machine Guns have done it. They have won the #1 contendership match and will fight Damian Priest and R-Truth at WrestleMania. The Machine Guns celebrate their win as Damian Priest and R-Truth enter the ring, staring them down as the WrestleMania graphic is shown in the corner before the show fades to black. And we finished the show with a 64 overall rating. Lost its popularity in 17 regions. Financial report just under 1 million. Popularity recap, nothing major, but lost popularity in America, in India, and some parts of Europe. But not too bad. So that is 3 matches that have been announced for WrestleMania. Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov have been added to the United States Championship match alongside Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. The Motor City Machine Guns will fight Damian Priest and R-Truth for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And Tiffany Stratton will take on Julia for the Women's United States Championship at WrestleMania. That's going to do it for today's episode of Reviving the Federation. I've been True Unscripted Puro, and I'll see you all next time when we have the last Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania. Oh, I'm so excited. We are so close to the biggest show of the year.